Can you see me? Good, because this is the last time I'm recording this. Hi, I'm Jalen. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I talk about clothes and fashion and stuff, in case you forgot or didn't know in the first place. So, if that interests you and you're not already subscribed, subscribe. I appreciate it. But in this video, I'll be talking about collaborations between fashion brands and or designers. So with that being said, let's break down how I'll be talking about it. I'll be talking about what kind of collaborations there are, why brands and designers collaborate with each other, and also some pros and cons of them, and just my overall thoughts. So let's get on with it. No tallying, no tarrying. I don't know English that well. I'm sorry. This is my first language, so I have no excuse. But without further ado is all I'm trying to say. Let's get on to what they are and what kinds there are. So what they are is two brands or designers or more collaborating with each other. That's it. It's as straightforward as that. And so why they do it? So most of the time it's to reach a broader audience or to widen their audience. So think of it like a rap feature on a pop song. At first you're like, these two things don't go together. But if they pull it off well, you now are like, that wasn't bad. And in some cases, or most cases, both those artists, I'm still talking about the pop song with the rap feature, by the way. Both of those artists now have a wider audience. So a good and very kind of recent example would be Dua Lipa's Levitating featuring DaBaby, the remix of that or whatever. So I can bet pretty good money that most DaBaby fans are not listening to Dua Lipa, and most Dua Lipa fans are not listening to DaBaby. But DaBaby didn't have a bad verse. He spit the same flow that he does in every other song. He's perfected the DaBaby flow. And Dua Lipa did her thing. She's a great singer. I don't listen to her much, but I know she can sing, She's very talented. And so the fact that the song blew up, now DaBaby listeners with a soft side, they can listen to Levitating, and Dua Lipa listeners who are trying to get into rap or whatever, they can listen to DaBaby, have a little bridge between those two worlds. And that is one of the reasons why brands and designers collaborate. That was a very long tangent. But another reason why designers specifically would collaborate with a brand would be to use that brand's resources and infrastructure. So, for example, Kanye West, he collaborated with The Gap. He signed a 10-year deal so that way he could get his Yeezy products to people for a very affordable price, or at least a more affordable price. Kanye West, he, owns Yeezy, his brand, and a lot of people, especially back when it first dropped in 2013, 14, 15, I forget. When it first dropped, it was so hard to get your hands on that resale for anything Yeezy was just completely insane. And ever since then, he's been trying to make Yeezy way more accessible, and this is part of his grand plan in doing that. Another example would be Jill Sander, who wants, to bring her very refined and minimalist tailoring and style to the masses. So her partnering with Uniqlo fulfills her goal of wanting to bring her design, her tailoring, all that she wants to bring to the world for a very affordable price. But more on that later. That's all I have to say really about why brands and designers collaborate. There are a couple types of collaborations, and this is very simple. One-offs and ongoing collaborations. I've already mentioned two ongoing collaborations, that of Yeezy and Gap and Uniqlo and Plus J, and an example of a one-off collaboration would be that of Louis Vuitton and Supreme. Hopefully they don't collaborate again, so that way I don't have to eat my words. But that was a really good collection. It's what got me into fashion, so I would not be here if not for Kim Jones and Supreme collaborating. Oh, Kim Jones was the creative director at Louis Vuitton when Louis Vuitton collaborated with Supreme, by the way. But I've got what they are, what kind of collaborations there are, and why they collaborate out of the way. So let's get on with some pros and some cons. I'm going to start with the pros first because, it's good to start off on a positive note. So the first pro I can think of is that a lot of collaborations tend to be shoes. And just with designer or high end clothes in general, shoes are going to be your safest entry point to anything really, because 9 times out of 10 you know your size in shoes. So even if a brand has like super small tailoring, like if an extra large from a brand fits like a medium, you can genuinely be safe buying a pair of shoes from that brand that runs small, because their shoes are gonna run like a shoe. They might be a little big, they might be a little small, but all you gotta do is look up some size guides online, look up some YouTube videos, and you'll be safe to buy that shoe. More than likely or not, it's gonna fit. And so that's why I think that shoes are a good entryway into designer clothes, or at least designer collaboration. Another reason why designer collaborations are accessible is because they're using the brand that they're collaborating with size. So in the case of Uniqlo and Plus J, I'm sure Jill Saunders tailoring is super nice and stuff like that, but I also would venture to bet I probably couldn't fit an extra large, which is my usual size in like most brands, from Jill Saunders, you know? And so since she's partnering with Uniqlo, she's also, using their super inclusive sizing. Uniqlo, I think their sizes range from extra, extra small to extra, extra, extra large, at least in men's is what I've seen. And that's super inclusive. That's like almost all the sizes. They also have kids clothes too. So like you can probably fit anything from the brand Uniqlo, is what I'm trying to say. And so for people like me who are by no means small, it means I get to wear ostensibly designer clothes, or at least clothes with the designer's name on them. And like, it's not the designer I care about wearing, it's more just like their style I care about wearing. Like if I like the style, I'm gonna want to wear it. And so being able to wear that without having to worry about fitting it or not is just comforting to know. Another reason why it's a safe entry point is because it's usually cheaper than buying from the designer itself. And I say usually because the secondhand market usually does sell designer clothes for definitely much cheaper than retail, but also for a little bit cheaper than, brand new collections from brands and designers. But again, I'm not a small person. So I remember reading a comment that a shirt from Heaven by Marc Jacobs was an extra, extra large, and it fit like a large. And I know that that is not the exception. That's usually the rule. So I know that for me, a lot of designer brands are just off the table in terms of actual clothes, because I live in Indiana. I can't just go to a store and try something on, like Gucci, Rick Owens, Prada, Burberry, whatever store, that is hours away. Even a Coach store is hours away from me right now. And so just knowing that I can trust in the size of the other brand sizing, like that makes me more comfortable, makes it less risky to buy something that does have a little bit of a markup to it. And why can't I speak? Oh, because I'm speaking too much. And so again, like, just it's the size inclusivity is just the point I'm trying to make here. That's a huge pro for people like me who are by no means small. I never listed it before, but I am 5'10", like 220-ish pounds. I fluctuate between 210 220, whatever. And that's 177 centimeters and 96 kilos, 97 kilos. So like I said, I'm by no means small. So most designer clothes, even their biggest size, won't fit me. They're not made for bigger bodies. They're made for thinner bodies. But some cons, I've already kind of alluded to one, and that is secondhand clothes can be, less expensive. And I mean, that makes sense because they're secondhand, they're used, they're most likely decades old or something like that. But another con is that it's more likely than not severely overpriced or overhyped. So an example of that would be the Union LA Jordan 1s and Jordan 4s. I know that the Jordan 4s have settled around $400 now, but those Jordan 1s from Union, those still fetch around $1,000. That's a lot of money. Another overhyped collaboration I would probably say would be anything. I'm gonna bleep his name out, by the way. But yeah, anything he makes is just severely overhyped. He's really not that good of a designer. I'll admit I like his stuff, but like it is definitely not worth $1,000 just because his name is attached to it. Like, no, it looks good because it's like neutral colors and like kind of wacky designs, but that's about it. There's really nothing that special to it. Another con would be a lot of times these collaborations come off as cash grabs, and that's more in the case of brands and brands collaborating, like Fendi and Versace collaborated this year, Dior and Sacai collaborated this year, Gucci and Balenciaga collaborated this year, and they all looked not that great, despite the fact they're all some of the biggest brands in the world right now. Sacai may be an exception. It's kind of new, but even still, Sacai has a very, very good pedigree when it comes to design, and I think that the Dior color palette really limited how they could express themselves as a brand. But even still, they all came off as cash grabs. They all came off as, look at so and so are working together. Buy now. And I'll admit, Demna Gvasalia, he has used some of the Gucci iconography pretty cleverly, like the 3 stripes on some Gucci monogram Balenciaga bag silhouettes. I think that was pretty cool. And of course, I do. Bags and shoes are meant to be very good sellers, but I think those are most of the cons. If you have any opinions, let me know, because I'm at a loss despite the fact that I wrote down notes. But let's get on to my overall thoughts on the matter. So overall, I think that collaborations are great and they're necessary for change and innovation to be made within fashion. But I do think that comes at a price, literally sometimes. So Walter van Beirendonck, I recently saw an interview from him. He is a designer from the prestigious Antwerp Six. If you haven't heard of them, look them up. They're legendary designers. But he is known for hating copying, and I want to say last year, Virgil Abloh was accused of copying some of Walter van Beirendonck's designs and motifs. And Walter was furious, obviously. That's his work that's being stolen. And he suggested that, like, if they had just hit him up to collaborate, he would have done so. He likes Virgil's work. And so I think that's a problem that, like, a lot of brands just need to solve. And it's so easy to solve a lot of times too. It was as easy as contacting Walter for the case of Louis Vuitton. So I think brands like H&M, Zara, Shein, Forever 21 that just blatantly steal designs from designers and brands like that, I think all they have to do is, in order to maintain their trendy appeal or whatever, they could just hire some smaller name designers that are still trying to make a name for themselves and still trying to get some type of portfolio built. They could hire those designers to design trendy pieces that are more original. That's the point I'm trying to get at. They could be more original by just hiring designers for each collection or something like that, or having designers stay on for a whole year or 2 years or 8 collections, 16 collections, 32 collections, whatever. They could make their own clothes, not copying other people's clothes, and still make bank. It would just take like a few tens of thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, but like Zara, H&M, Forever 21, Shein, they make billions. So it's not like they're hurting for money. And I think that Walter made a very good point with the whole just hit me up to design and I'll do it, most likely. Designing should be fun for designers, or else they'll just like hate it. And then you like see that they hate it. But in general, I think copying is wrong. I know the whole great artist steal quote is a thing, but like Virgil Abloh's like bastardization of that is 3% rule, and that is when it gets taken too far. You should not only be changing 3% of anything that you're taking a lot of inspiration from. I also think that a lot of collaborations could just come off as cash grabs, as I mentioned earlier, and I don't like that, because a collaboration should be between two entities that want to work together and have something to make together. It should be a group project, not just two people working on their parts of the project separately and then coming together with two things and then calling it the one thing, at the end of the day. I also really like the model of collaboration that Jill Sonder and Kanye West have been participating in, and that is making their designer clothes, because whether you want to admit it or not, whether you think Kanye's clothes are ugly or not, Kanye West makes designer clothes. I really like their model of making their designer clothes a lot more accessible for a lot of people, because not everyone has hundreds of dollars to spend on like a t-shirt or a pair of pants or a jacket or a sweater, etc., or a pair of shoes for that matter. So I think that democratizing their usually inaccessible pieces, I really like that idea, because I think fashion should be for everyone, because everyone more than likely than not participates in it in some way. If you put clothes on, you're participating in fashion. And I think that's all I have to say. If you have anything to say, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to just know what you think, even if I don't agree, and I most likely won't, because I'm always right. So you don't have to agree with me or be wrong. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Other than that, please give the video a like, subscribe to my channel if you'd like to. I don't know, I'm not your boss, so just do what you want. Also, I use Twitter and Instagram, but I hardly ever plug them like verbally, like on camera. I usually just leave them in the description below. So follow me on Instagram at Jalen Amiri. It'll be in the description below still. And follow me on Twitter at Jalen of Konoha. Again, description, just look there. It'll be linked. Yeah, let me know if you have any ideas for me as well. I still like to cook up ideas for myself, but it'd be nice to like know what you want to watch. I can try to make that for you. Because what's the point in like making videos if like you don't want to watch it? Other than that, I really hope that you have a great day. Thanks for watching again. I don't know if I said that already, but thank you again. I know I just said it twice now, so I just had to make up for it if I didn't say it. And just give your best friend a big fat hug. Not for me, just for you, because that's your best friend. Other than that, thanks. Bye.